Paige, and we're here for this week's review of Raw. We had a really great show tonight. We're getting closer and closer to WrestleMania as we normally get our better shows. This week we start with Rollins coming out to the ring. He's talking about the whole thing with Jon Stewart, how Stewart called him out, that he should have on the Daily Show, and Stewart's supposed to show up this week. He goes on about all people he's better than. He lists that he's better at like hosting than Stewart is. He's like, don't let these ads fool you. I can out eat Mark Henry. A whole bunch of real crazy things like that. The crowd's not buying it. Roman Reigns comes out there. He's like, I'm just here listening to the crowd tell you you suck. Which, you know what? If that's how we're gonna build like the crowd getting behind Reigns by putting him in the ring with people who the crowd's already like booing the hell out of, you know what? More power to him. They're controlling his how he's perceived right now. I think that worked really well. Reigns tries to talk Rollins into like, you know what? You can take your WrestleMania match, cash that in now. We'll make it a triple threat match. Rollins doesn't buy it. He's got this like chance anytime he wants, and he's gonna do it on his terms. At that point, Reigns basically gets up in his face, hits him with a Superman punch, and basically Reigns is the last guy left standing in the ring. Not a bad way to start the show. After that, we see Orton backstage. He's starting to talk. It's helpful Orton this week, which I think is hysterical because he's obviously not being helpful at all. But he's like, you know what? If Reigns thinks he's better than you, you know what? Prove him wrong. Go to the Authority. Tell him what a match with Reigns. You know what? I'm sort of digging the whole manipulative, helpful Orton. Pretty cool. Up next, we have Dean Ambrose versus Wade Barrett. This is entirely just a gimmick to just keep showing them swapping the IC title around. I'm okay with that. For this one, we have Ambrose comes out with the title, which is Wade Barrett's champion. Truth steals the title from him. Wade Barrett comes out of the crowd, I assume. They never quite explained how he got there, but he's like standing behind Truth on commentary. He's like, hand me the title. Well, it doesn't say it, he sort of sits there, puts his hands out. And Truth's like, sure, why not? Here you go. Title's changed hands again. You know what? It's funny. I'm digging it right now. However, while Wade Barrett's leaving, while Luke Harper's leaving, it distracts Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett then gets rolled up by Dean Ambrose for the win. It wasn't a great match. It wasn't a bad match, but it was just there for the whole swapping of the IC title bit. And you know what? I'm digging it. After that, we have Miz and Mizdow backstage with their Niagra commercial. That's amazing. I love the whole, like, hey, you know what? We're going to show, like, Miz working his way into the commercial and not knowing what it's about, and having them green screen him into erectile dysfunction commercial was an amazing little bit. And even Mizdow tried to, like, no, are you sure you want to screen this first? I'm digging it. I'm waiting for Miz versus Mizdow. I really hope we get them in a singles match at WrestleMania. I hope it's not part of like the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. I think they deserve their own match. That'd be really good. After that, we have Natalya, Cesaro, and Tyson Kidd versus Naomi and the Usos. You know what? We all want the whole internet blew up last week with the whole hashtag Give Divas a Chance. These two showed like, hey, you know, they can go in the ring. I keep forgetting like Naomi actually can wrestle when she's given time, and these two like tore the house down. They had a great back and forth for a while. Kid gets tagged in. He winds up facing off the Usos. They go to double team him. He tags back in Natalya, who's tweaked her ankle. Doesn't want to get back in the ring. She's arguing like, hey, why would you do this to me? And she gets rolled up for the loss. So Naomi and the Usos take that one. Post-match, Natalya's upset. Kid hugs her and everything's okay. I don't know where this is going. You know what? I liked when she was sort of in on it. It seemed like 2 weeks ago or last week, where she's like, you know what? You messed with my guy. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna mess with you. That I like. This is just weird. From there, we go to Cena in the ring. He basically comes out like, hey guys, I'm going to enter myself into the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. And my wife looks at me like, can people just enter themselves into this by themselves? Like, well, not really. immediately, but everyone keeps doing that. And then Stephanie McMahon shows up, and she goes over that exact point of, yeah, you're not allowed to just enter yourself into this by yourself. She brings up pictures of Andre, her being 8 years old at WrestleMania 1. Real cool, touching thing. But Steph says, but I like the whole, she goes into what everyone who's faced Cena for the last 10 years has wanted to say, but hasn't been able to. No one's bigger than the WWE. You don't define what the WWE is. It's like, it was like pretty stirring stuff. You watch Cena get pretty visibly riled up by it. So that was kind of cool to see. At that point of all, and oh yeah, she basically drops the bombshell that, you know what, you might not have a match at WrestleMania. You know what, you don't define the company, so maybe this is the year you sit one out. At that point, Curtis Axel shows up of all people, and Axel Mania is running wild. The crowd ate this up. He's out there, he smooshes with Stephanie, with, he's in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale already, but now he wants to fight Rusev. He's okay going and winning 2 matches in one night. There's a small pause. You hear the entire arena chanting for Axel Mania. It was a pretty surreal moment. You can tell I think he was pretty shocked by it as well. At that point, Stephanie makes a match between Axel and Cena, and also drops the stipulation the only way Cena will face Rusev at WrestleMania is if Rusev will accept the match. So we come back from the next commercial, and it's Cena versus Axel. And Axel's great. He's like hitting all like the 80s tropes in the rings, the pose down, playing for the crowd, little Hulk Hogan, little cup the ear bit. Pretty cool stuff. Cena hits a series of clotheslines, I think it was, on him, basically docks it down. And it's angry Cena. I'm gonna hurt you, Cena. You shouldn't have tried to mess with me, Cena. And Axel, of all things, he hulks up, gets going. Cena hits the FU, or the attitude adjustment, and locks in the STF on him. Axel taps out. We did see this weird sort of edge of Cena already, the heel turn we've all sort of hoped for forever. Probably not with the amount of merchandise he moves, but we can all cross our fingers. Looks like they're listening to the internet these days, so we'll find out. Up after that, we have Triple H comes out, cuts a promo. It's all about recapping what he said last week. He made Sting the offer. We could do this. Just walk away. We'll make you famous. We'll give you toys, DVDs, action figures, the whole kit and caboodle. But no, you have to do it the hard way. At that point, he calls out Booker T, because earlier in the night, Booker T made a reference that maybe Sting was kept out of the WWE. Now we're playing up this whole politics angle. And he sort of grills Booker T on this. And Booker T sticks to his guns. Hey, you know what? Guy was a tough guy. If he didn't show up here, there's probably a reason he didn't show up here. At that point, Triple H is like, you know what? It's all about control, and thank you very much. You're fired. Booker T packs his stuff, starts heading up the entrance ramp, and H is like, nope, sorry, April Fools, just kidding. But this is control. Now get back to work. It didn't sell me on it. There's a lot of things you could do with Triple H, even without Sting there, but I don't know. That just didn't quite connect for me. Up next, we had Paige versus Nikki Bella. Pretty good match between the two of them. It was a decent wrestling. It's not what the internet wanted. We didn't get Natalya versus Charlotte from NXT. It's still a decent match. It was missing the psychology, it felt like to me. Like, you have the Bellas being these bullies the entire, I don't know, past several months, and that didn't come into play at all in the match. You didn't have Nikki trying to be like, look at me, I'm better than you, you're a loser, or yada yada. None of that was in there. It's just like this straight wrestling, and it needs that balance. You need the storytelling and the technical wrestling together. At the end, Paige kicks Brie off the ring apron because she's trying to interfere. Kicks Nikki in the face, locks on her scorpion cross lock, and at that point, Brie comes in and basically attacks her, saves her sister the title. Both of them are beating down on Paige, and suddenly we have AJ's music. AJ Lee is back. The crowd is happy, and she makes the save. Pretty cool match. Pretty cool return at that point. So some redeeming qualities there. We went up as little backstage segment afterwards. Renee Young is sitting there interviewing AJ about what's going on. And Paige shows up, and you get the whole like back and forth. We've been friends, we've been enemies, and AJ's like, "Well, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I guess we're friends again." And then Paige is sitting there. I think that's a good thing. I don't know. I've always liked the two of them as a tag team, so I'm cool with this continuing. Um, Maybe that's the WrestleMania match at this point. Maybe the Divas match is AJ and Paige versus the Bellas. I don't know. We'll see. After that, we have the Raw Daily Show. Cool idea. Have Seth Rollins come out there and run his version of the Daily Show. Whoever tried to write for him, though, it just didn't quite hit the mark. Like, if you're gonna sit there and try to mimic the Daily Show, try mimicking the format or something. It's like, hey, where's Stewart? We don't know where Stewart is. And then we had some jokes about no one go seeing his movie. You could have done something more than that. I don't know. Current state of the WWE. There's enough segments that you could have pulled something out. At that point, Jon Stewart shows up, and he has his own Titantron, which I thought was amazing. He's got like, because of the Daily Show music, he's got like the big banner up top with his name on it. He's got like the scroll underneath. That was pretty amazing. Stewart proceeds to just cut Rollins to shreds in the microphone. Like, there was no hope for Rollins recovering once he did this. I love the comment that this is New Jersey. It's where the curb stomps, how people greet each other first thing in the morning. It was pretty good. So you had Rollins, who's already torn New Jersey apart several times, and Stewart comes in being sort of the hometown hero at this point. Stewart does start getting into like, hey, you know what? There's the greats who earned their titles, and you've had everything handed to you or stolen. And he goes through all the things that Rollins has done, all the cheap stuff. At that point, he gets into this whole like, does the Authority really care about you? If they cared about you, why aren't you in the main event? Finally, that's what gets Rollins and J&J Security to blow their stack. They sort of bully Stewart at that point, throw their chairs away, sort of drag him out into the ring, and Rollins getting ready to pound him into paste. When Orton music kicks up, Rollins has that momentary surprise of, what's that? Gets kicked between the legs, low blow. Stewart gets an extra like elbow shot on the back before he dives out of the ring. It was pretty cool. It was one of those. It got Stewart out of there, and then Orton sort of gets halfway to the ring's like, I can't do anything with this, forget about it, and just turns and walks away. After that, we had the Luke Harper Daniel Bryan match. This was a weird match for me. Like, most of this match was Luke Harper just basically pounding and tossing around a ragdoll version of Daniel Bryan. I get the whole neck injury, now people are going to play off that, but this is just weird to watch. And after getting pounded on for most of the match, Daniel Bryan like locks on the yes lock and wins the match. So it was okay. It just, it felt weird to me. But here's where the whole post-match stuff gets interesting, because Harper is carrying the IC title from earlier on the night. Wade Barrett comes out and he steals the IC title back. Hey, it's my title, I'm the champion. He's heading up the entrance ramp, and Dean Ambrose comes down. Ambrose attacks him. They brawl back into the ring. Ambrose picks up the title, gets basically his head kicked off by Luke Harper. Then R-Truth shows up again. Okay, here we go. Title, okay, cool, I'll take this. And he just tries to walk away with it. Luke Harper confronts him. He's like, give me the title. Finally, Truth's like, here, I'll put it down over there. And then gets the discus clothesline, his head knocked off. Harper picks up the title, goes to leave, and Dolph Ziggler shows up, super kicks him, and we see Ziggler with the title. He climbs the ladder they have on stage at this point because they're hyping this IC ladder match at WrestleMania. You see him sitting there holding up the title. They cut back to the other end of the arena. You see Daniel Bryan on the announce desk, and the shot of just him on the announce table doing the yes chants, and Ziggler on the ladder. It's this sort of great juxtaposition. After that, we have Orton backstage talking about he's still helping Rollins out at this point. He helped make sure that he didn't get himself fired because, you know, if you had basically struck Stewart, something bad would have happened. You would have been fired. New Jersey. I think they also implied the crowd would have rioted or something. But, you know what? I'm digging the whole, like, asshole Orton, like, hey, I'm here to help. We also get a great video that shows Medusa's going to the Hall of Fame, which would be super exciting. And they actually, and of course they play the clip of her going to WCW and dropping the women's title in the trash, because that's basically what she's essentially known for at this point. That now Monster Truck Racing, so that was cool to see. We have Heyman up after that. Cuts an amazing promo. Basically hype. He manages to simultaneously hype Roman Reigns and hype Brock Lesnar, which is an amazing trick to be able to do. So he's sitting there basically, and he goes through all the people we talked about last week, all these great legends that at their heyday couldn't beat Reigns at his prime right now, and no one's come forward to basically try to dispute that. And he keeps dropping the Reigns is believe that tagline in the whole thing. But Brock Lesnar's going to be the exception. Brock Lesnar's that guy that he's not going to beat. You know what? You can't describe this promo very well, but he just did a great job of just hyping up, like, hey, you know what? Reigns is there, Reigns is that guy, but against anyone except Brock Lesnar. After that, we actually get the Rollins versus Reigns match itself. Really great back and forth match between the two of them. As expected, lots of interference, and Orton's not there initially because they told him back, like, hey, you know, we don't need you. I've got my own crew, so you got J&J Security, Kane, The Big Show, you got everyone else out there. About halfway through, Orton does show up, and during the course of this match, almost everyone interferes, but basically gets knocked down. So at the end, you've got Rollins knocked down, most of the authorities down, and Reigns goes for the spear, but Orton sort of walks over, hooks the leg, distracts him. Rollins hooks him up for rolls him up for a pinfall at that point, and he gets the 1-2-3 and gets his victory over Roman Reigns. Which at first I was like, okay, that's a weird way to sort of build like any momentum for Reigns. But then we get to the post-match, where you see the Authority backing off, and Orton's the first one out and gone, and everyone else sort of down clustered at like the ringside. Reigns essentially goes Super Saiyan. At this point, it hits the crazy suicide dive over the top rope, takes everybody out. He hits the Superman punch on Big Show and spears him in the middle of the ring. He spears Kane outside the ring. And then Rollins come off the top rope for some move, and Reigns basically just grabs him out of midair and just spears him into the mat. And you get like Roman Reigns basically standing tall amongst all the carnage to end the show. You know, this is a good show. This is what Raw should be like all the time. Like, if you could keep this kind of storytelling going, it'd be amazing. Super awesome show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you like this video, please share it. Please subscribe to this channel. You can also follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is right on the screen here. It's @MajorRampage. And hopefully I will see you guys next week. Thank you very much.